Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Two Real Cryptid Legends with Darrell, Denton, Ron Morehead, and myself, your moderator, host, and segment producer. We are broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. Tonight's topic, examining and discussing the differences among Bigfoot. So this would be great for the novice, and for you pros out there, maybe chime in and give us your input and join in the conversation with Darrell and Ron. Hi.
Hey, thank you, Michelle.
Oh, you're very
I
welcome.
can't hear anything.
What? No. Don't fudge with me. Oh, my
Everybody
goodness.
in the audience, please give Michelle a hand. She does so much for us. We appreciate her so much.
Thank you. Thank you much. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Our chat room is already just like totally going
Right.
crazy. Hi,
Yeah.
Wayne
Well,
and
it says
Bruce.
everyone can see and hear me, but I can't hear a thing.
You're
Really?
serious?
I got my speaker turned on too.
You sure do. Oh, really? You can't hear us at all? We were just talking. You can't hear us? No? Charades. Sounds like. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We log out and log back in?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds good.
Go ahead. We'll be right here.
We'll be right here. We're
We
just
have
going
a segment accident occasionally here. It's not.
I don't know. It could happen. We were all just talking literally like a minute ago and
That's pretty
and
great.
totally on with it. But in the meantime, we'll say hi to everybody. So we've got hello, Wayne. How are you? We've got Bruce. Hello. We've got Kat from Paranormal Heart. Hello. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. Yes.
Bizarre.
Ready.
It's so bizarre.
It's awesome.
Honestly. Hello, Heidi. We're just chiming in while we were
Hello,
waiting
Heidi.
for you. Yeah.
Thanks
So-
everybody for coming on.
Okay. And they're saying they can hear everybody just fine. So thank you, Al. You're very welcome, Bruce. Thank you. We really appreciate you all tuning in. And tonight we thought it would be a lot of fun. And of course, that's, these guys, they make up what they want to talk about. This is not on me. So if it goes bad, it's not on me. Anyway, I'm kidding. I know it's not going to go bad. But the differences between, I guess, I'll say, among the different Bigfoot. So whether you're a novice or a pro, do you want to take it from a novice standpoint? So just somebody who maybe accidentally might just be getting into it or may accidentally venture into a Bigfoot territory. They need to know what to look for. So where do you guys want to start with this? Common differences. How about that?
That's
Well,
fine. Go ahead, Ron.
Can we all agree that the caveman used to be here? We can all agree to that. It used to be a Neanderthal, right? Neanderthal.
Yep.
Used to be the Cro-Magnon, Denisovian. There used to be Bushman Hottentot. You don't want to get into it, but all these different types were here ages ago, a long time ago. So aliens, can we all believe that aliens have been around?
You bet.
Okay. Aliens been around for eons, different ones. There's not just one type of alien. There's all kinds of them out there. Just think how big this cosmos is. So this is how I'm going with this. You got all these different aliens coming here to mess around with this planet because they like this planet because it's such a cool planet. It's got everything the other ones don't have. So they have messed with the different type of troglodytes, different type of cavemans, created different types of beings that they wanted to do. And that's where I think the different types came from. Some of them have just evolved right up through there. Some of them have been manipulated by the genetic manipulation by different aliens, and depends on their agenda what they made. So, you got some with long arms, some with cellular crest, some with not cellular crest. And I've been all over the world with this, just getting all these different things going. So I just think there's different types of these things. In fact, I'm quite sure of it. You got the one in Nepal, which is a lot smaller, a little bulkier, but he's smaller. And you got
I think that was called the rain pendak, isn't it?
In Nepal?
Is it Nepal that has the rain pendeck?
I think that's a Yeti in Nepal. Oh
Okay.
wait, I'm not. No wait, I'm in LA. Anyway, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's different types that way. I believe, and also I've interviewed people from all over the world, really different countries I've been in, and they all have different views of these things, what they look like and what they did, and some would have different attributes than others. So that's where I go with it, and that's what I'm sticking to because I just believe it. And
I believe it too.
my passion on this thing has been a lifetime passion, and I'm just willing to learn anything. And I love it. People chime in on this thing and tell me what they think and what they've seen because you got the skunk ape in Florida, you got the urine in China, you got all these different countries have different names for these things,
The
and
Yowie.
that's because yeah, the alley, and you got the wild man in Siberia, they call it. That's what I was taken into where he was supposedly seen in a cave. So it's really interesting when you start looking at it. You have to open up your mind though and think of all the different things that could be out there. And I just think there's a lot of differences in these things from all over the world, and from even within this continent we're in right now. I
Yeah,
just think,
100%. I believe
yeah,
that. You know, back
hmm
when I had my first sighting, there weren't any radio shows or any podcasts or groups to belong to. You really much had to keep yourself quiet because you couldn't tell people because they didn't believe you or they thought we were crazy. And I went to a library back in that day and I started looking for books about these creatures. And I found a book that said the top 10 Bigfoot. And I never had an idea that there was that many of them. I'm sure there's probably more than 10. I know there probably is, but this particular book had 10 different types listed just in the United States. So,
wow. You also got the element of crossbreed with indigenous people, which makes
yep,
some of them different than others. Because that's what I think that's how I relate the Patterson film because the Patterson tracks were different than the tracks we had in the Sierras. We seen our trackways year after year up there. It wasn't like it was just one track ever. We found these trackways, and it always puzzled me. Why is our tracks so different? Now, Dr. Meldrum, he asked me if he could study our tracks one time, and I asked Al Berry about it. He's an investigative reporter. He said, "There's no upside to that. We're talking about the voices here, not the tracks, because what Jeff would have done, and I am quite sure of it. I know Jeff pretty well. He would have compared it to the Patterson track, which has the
Morse line.
mid-tarsal break and
Yeah,
looks really human-like, very arched. And I know I got one of those tracks, and Bob Gibbon gave it to me, and it's just it's different. Our tracks are very splayed. They're very five-toed right across. Hard to tell a right foot from a left foot. They walk one in front of the other.
Mm.
And we found them in snow. We found them in decomposed granite. We found them around our camp in the dust. Just they've always been the same, even the small ones when there was a little one around. And I just think that a lot of the things that people are seeing are really hybridized more so than anything else because um, they did crossbred with indigenous people over the eons of time, and that story should go back in Native American lore way back how they used to take their women. So
Mhm.
sure.
there you go.
There's been lots of stories from most all the tribes that have talked about these creatures coming in the middle of the night and taking the women and children from their village. And a lot of the tribes went after them and tried to find them, and some of them did, and some of them didn't. And I know that my family had talked. My grandmother on my dad's side had talked about that, and that she had heard stories when she was a little girl about the indigenous people all across the nation were having the same issue with these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had a lot of these creatures they traded with. They were friends with them. And so there had to be different species for some of them to be able to trade and understand, and the other ones be more aggressive and not wanting to be around people.
Exactly. Yeah. And you wonder if our government hasn't manipulated the DNA of some of these things, because I've heard reports of that by geneticists that work for the government, but I can't talk about it any more than that. But if that's happened, try to get the super warrior like Hitler was trying to do,
Oh, sure.
And
I definitely believe that's one of them.
yeah, and at certain frequencies, you'll bring them in and tune them in, and anyway, it just goes on and on. There's so much history that people just seem to don't want to grab a hold of sometimes. But there's so much out there, and the more you look, the better it gets, and the more you want to keep looking, and that's where I'm at. So there.
I've seen some pretty different tracks over there. You were talking about tracks. I think the largest track I ever seen was about 22 inches, and but I've seen some tracks that were completely different. I think I even have a 3-toed track that I found, which is very unusual to find one of those of a Bigfoot type track. I've been told by people who have studied that the reason why the 3-toed is because there's a smaller breed of population, and a lot of those are interbreeding, which causes the 3-toed track.
Interesting. Yeah, we had a 6-toed track, not at our camp, but just a few miles from our camp. A Native American showed it to me. He casted it
incredible.
At a place he went to do his religious thing at a lake, and he found in the mud. He found 4 of them. And they were all 6 toes, right and left, 2 rights and 2 lefts. And he brought one in and showed it to me, just because. And anyway, I got a picture of that too. It's kind of cool. 6 toes. So that suggests crossbreeding. Of course, some of them have 6 fingers, double-rolled teeth too, according to legends. But I've never seen a skeleton, so I don't know. Just know.
Yeah,
a lot of people say that the jugway, some of the jugway have 6 toes and 6 fingers and double row of teeth.
Yeah, well, that's the giants in the old. Yeah. I know L.A. Missoula, when I was with him quite a bit, he uncovered on the island of Catalina Island, I think it was, where there's several of them, and supposedly had 6 toes, 6 fingers, double row teeth. Those were really.
So that's giants essentially.
Yes.
So there was a cross somewhere there, and Bigfoot remained, and I mean some giants throughout the different parts of the world still remain as well. But I think we see traces of that in Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Kandahar giants supposedly had 6 fingers and 6 toes. The ones in Kandahar.
Yes. And that's one that the military took down, so they were able to get across.
The tall, huge, red-headed giants is what they.
Yeah, L.A. Actually interviewed the pilot and one of the guys who was on that platoon. Coming.
The Lovelock giant.
No, the Kandahar.
The red-haired. Oh yeah, Kandahar. No, we were saying the red-haired giants. So that's the Lovelock.
Those were Lovelock, the red-haired giants. Chickasaw, they call them, and the Paiute story of them, and they found a couple other bones of giants out in the Humboldt Lake bed, which is outside the Lovelock Caves Airways. And of course, that used to be full of water. Now it's just dry. But anyway, there was a lot around. That cave wasn't even explored or discovered until 1911, and it wasn't really looked into by Smithsonian. So a 29-year-old geologist out there.
Judy.
That was in 1929, years later.
Yes.
And so they a lot of the artifacts that was in there has just been taken away. It used to be in museums down in Lovelock, but it's not anymore.
I think we both know about all the bones that the Smithsonian had that somehow they all disappeared.
They went into the ocean. They dumped them in the ocean.
How do you know that? Do you know that for sure?
I know lots of stuff, Ron.
I'm a scuba diver.
I know. Well, it's salt water. So how long do you think bone would last in salt water?
I don't know. There's all that.
Especially tired old bones.
True. Very true.
Yeah. No, I've had people who've come on and have talked about giants and such, and the whole erasing or hiding history, altering history. Of course, it's like many stories where people uncover these things and the Smithsonian automatically comes in and they never see them again, or they send things to get analyzed and they never see them again. Hi, Judy.
Smithsonian gets a lot of their funding from the government. The government has to control the narrative. Has to control the narrative, So they
Yeah.
didn't want that out, and that's why this country is about the only one that really has that secretive behind it. You go down to Mexico, South America, they don't hold secrets like that so much. They'll talk to you about that stuff.
No, for sure. And Bigfoot was one of those things for the longest time, wasn't it? And that seems to have changed a little bit. Do you think it's because there are so many people having sightings now with, of course, everybody's got a camera phone pretty much, right?
Well,
So,
and a lot of people reporting them. They can't hide this forever, There's
yeah.
too many people coming out, like the UFO thing. Same thing. People are seeing those.
I think it's got a lot to do with that. Plus, there's a whole lot more people in the woods than there once were, too.
True. That's true.
I definitely believe that, all the encroachment of buildings and subdivisions taking a lot of their land, too, their homeland that they've lived in for hundreds of years, has brought a lot of them out. And another thing, I really believe that these creatures have no enemy and they are reproducing very fast.
They're reproducing. We're encroaching a lot into their territory.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the factors in Portlock when I was up there, Portlock, Alaska. I think the villagers that were in Portlock, they were encroaching too much into this territory where these giants were. And I know the clear cutting up there had really gone a lot in years past. I could see that. They were overfishing from the pictures I saw, because it happened in the late 1940s and early 50s. That's when they abandoned the village. And a lot of that was, I think, because they were just not respecting the land. And we don't respect it nowadays. I mean, look at us. We're messing a lot of things up. And we got to change all that. That's what we're here for.
I agree.
Yeah. Which is probably why they keep to themselves for the most part. I mean, we're destructive.
Yeah.
We are. Mankind, especially the human race, a lot of people just want to kill them, too. I mean, they want to shoot these creatures. So, for no reason at all, they just want to. And
they kill what they don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Well, people think they're going to get, the $1 million paycheck if they come in with a Bigfoot and say, here.
I think the government would probably be at your back door as soon as you made the phone call. So,
yeah.
Right. So what out of the different Bigfoot that are out there, what is the one that would be closest to maybe primitive, and what would be the one, it's a two-part question, and what would be the one closest to the human side?
Good question, because you don't know the mitochondrial of those, the mitochondrial DNA, which one has more human in it. But the ones we dealt with, I believe, I'm sure of it, they have a human component to them. That's because of the research that's been done on sounds and studies been done with what we reported up there in the Sierras. But the ones that are probably more human-like are probably the ones that are crossbred with indigenous people, like the Patterson Patty up there.
I agree with that.
Are still running around. That's what people are seeing mostly, because there's so many of those out there with the mid-tarsal break and all that stuff. And so that's the ones I think that are more common, at least in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know about back there in the east, but they're seeing them back there too.
I believe I've seen 4 or 5 different types myself. The first type being what's called the number 2 on the, going by the book that I went by, a guide back in the 90s when I looked it up. There was no other place to go, and the number 2 was called the wood booger, and it looked completely different than any of the other ones I've seen. The number 3 and number 4 were very similar. They look more like the Patterson Gimlin type. I think those are the ones I was friends with on the river for nearly 5 years, and they looked a lot human. They look more human than the other ones I've seen. The one with the crested head, or the more sculpted head that I've seen in the Blue Ridge Mountains, were completely different. Hardly had a neck, just a different type.
Right.
And that was kind of a number 6 or 7 by that book. Those look similar in appearance. My question is going to be, we had Dr. Melvin Kitchen on here not long ago, and Robin Haynes, and the fact was brought up that these creatures the Bigfoot may be breeding with Dogman. that's going to be a whole different type creature.
Land between the lakes. You know about that.
Oh yeah, I know very well about that. But I'm not sure that I've ever seen a Bigfoot and a dog man bred together, that particular creature. So I'm not sure that I've ever seen that type of creature.
There's not anything that would surprise me nowadays. You know
Nope,
that. Just,
not at
I
all.
mean, there's so much out there, and just things we don't see with our limited visibility, light frequency. I just a lot going on, and we don't see a lot of it because I think they can. Well, they've learned how. Some of them have learned how to change their matter into energy. Because we all are energy, but we see the matter, we see the biological form things. But can that
100%.
form change into energy? Yes, it can. We've talked about that before in previous episodes. But mass and energy are interchangeable. And if you reach the right frequency, you can change it. And that's how I think these things. That may be the reason I had this whole experience that I had this year. Is just so I could talk about the scope of the frequency. We don't know just what the scope is, but we do know, I do know now anyway, that sound, a regular tone at the 49th octave will turn into light, energy only. And that's something to think about. Because if these things can do that, can reach the frequency to change their matter into energy, they would disappear in front of your eyes. And they would become, well, the density would just change into energy only. And they wouldn't leave a trackway after that either. So
Here's a question. There are some advanced beings out there that can project outward how they want you to see them or be portrayed to you, giving you the illusion that, hey, I look like this. So basically it's sort of a how should I put it? Mind screw.
Yeah, that's
hypnotized. It's called hypnotism.
Okay, we could go with that. I think it's like a mind ninja thing. So, I mean, is
Yeah.
that a possibility with these beings?
I believe it. I definitely believe that. I
Could
know.
be.
I think they can do that.
Well,
Like
yeah, they
illusion.
can do that. The thing is, when we were at the Sierra camp, sometimes there was 5 or 6 of us in that shelter, and when these things would be out there. Now they had to make us all hear the same thing or think the same thing all at once, which means they'd have to send out the frequency that would interfere with us all like that. And so they either did that out there, which tore our camp apart, which they didn't do because we looked out there later and nothing changed. But they either did that or they made us think we heard that. And that's mind speak, which is quantum entanglement. So there's a reason for it all. It's just, gosh, it goes deep and way down the rabbit hole. They just don't know where to put some of that stuff other than just try to.
Yeah, because some of the ET know how to do that. It's like illusion.
Yeah. Well, you wonder too how many people. Our brain is conditioned to fill in the blanks, as we know. And if we see a bear and want to see a Bigfoot, you might just think, well, I've seen a Bigfoot. Well, it was really a bear standing on 2 legs. Your brain will try to fill in the blanks of what it does know. Because it only knows what it's been taught. That's all our brain knows. It takes care of your body and knows what's been taught. So it's just, you got to think about that stuff. You're really seeing this, you got to think about it and just be open-minded. But don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out.
I definitely believe these creatures can shapeshift. I really do. I think they can transfer. Some of these creatures can turn themselves into another type creature. Or
Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
I've had some pretty weird experiences deep in the woods with some of these different type Bigfoot, and a lot of occurrences with stuff going on in the woods with orbs near these creatures, other animals that I haven't seen in the woods before. Very strange. Okay, that's happened several times.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that can possibly shapeshift into another type creature. I really do.
Yeah, if they change their density down into our 3rd density, which we live in, that's when you see them be able to really interact. You can shoot them then. You can do anything you want to then. Because they have to live by our 3rd density rules when they're in our 3rd density. However, when they reach the frequency that gets them out of this density, they're long gone. You don't know what's going on then. Even Einstein wouldn't guess at that. What happens? Your form will change.
Well, that makes it really tough for people who may be out. And again, I'm going to come across from a novice standpoint because, people who go
Good.
actively looking for Bigfoot pretty much have an idea, the do's and the don'ts. But let's say you're coming into an area and you have no idea. You just kind of stumble into a territory, perhaps. So what should you look for? Because if they're all different, like maybe nests,
Okay.
maybe like the structures, maybe.
I think
Like,
you just, if you think you're in the area where they might be, just be still and let them do what they want to do.
well,
Well,
that's
And,
they
comforting.
always
yeah.
they
And if they tear your arms
they
off, you know they're not
That's what I
friendly.
mean. That's not very comforting.
I pretty much from my past experience, and I've been in a lot of those type situations over the years. They already know when you're coming. They know you're there, and they're watching you way before you ever see them. And you never find them; they find you, and that's a true statement.
That's true. I
They,
ditto that one. Yeah.
if they don't want you to, if they do not want you to see them, you won't. And they do pick up on your inner being of your intentions of being there. I 100% believe that. When I first started doing this, I used to go into the woods. I'd sit down. I would do a little talk in the woods to myself and whatever was there, take off my shoes and ground myself. Then I would put my shoes back on and walk. And they expect you to respect their area like it's your home. And if you don't, they'll either run you out of there or you won't see them.
Or they're hungry and they eat you.
They should do that too. I do believe they
I'll
can
throw
do
that
that.
one out there.
I do believe there are some that would do that.
Well, the Paiutes definitely say they were eating them. They were cannibalistic giants in the Liverlock.
Yeah.
And of course, there's another type altogether too.
Portlock.
Huh? Or
Portlock.
Portlock, yeah. Well, I don't know if they were eating them then. They were tearing them apart. They were killing people there. But
Yeah, they were finding most of those people's bodies in the water.
Yeah, but
So is this typical behavior for, in your opinions, all Bigfoot or?
No.
Okay,
No.
so that's where I'm sort of going with it.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. They're different. It depends on what made them and what their agenda was and what their attributes have been given to them. Because, like I say, a lot of them are more hybridized than others. And a lot of them, I think, are really, just aliens.
I personally know that of all the ones I've been around, the ones you want to be around and try to friend or research are the ones that make the large X's in the forest. These are the trees they form with deadfalls, or they form with new trees. They form X's, and that's their marker. And those have always been the friendly type with me, non-aggressive, as long as you're not aggressive with them. So,
As long as they'll go through the X too, right?
well, the X is just their marker. That's the marker they go by that they call their family.
That don't mean go through there, though. It doesn't mean don't go through there.
I've never had a problem with that, but I know where you're going here.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that's natural too. Some of it's natural. I mean, the trees fell that way. But a lot of them, there are structures out there that think these things. Too many people are seeing them. But I'll go back to the old Peter Burns statement. If you don't see what made it, you don't know what made it. But still, some of these structures look like a teepee out there that people say are Bigfoot nests. Well, how do they know a hunter didn't do that, or a Boy Scout group or something? I'm just saying. I'm just being the devil's advocate here because.
Well, when you see a 6 to 8 inch tree, a live tree, broken about a foot from the bottom, snout, and you see another one 15 foot from it, the same way snout, and they're formed together an X. I don't believe there's anything natural about that. And
I don't think a Boy Scout did that one.
No, and that's the type of creatures I'm talking about that I dealt with on the river. Those X's were everywhere, and they also take deadfalls and make the X. That was the marker of their family's marker.
Mm.
So that's what they go by. I
Up in
know
Portlock.
Dr. Matthew Johnson calls them the Xanu, Xanue, and I've never heard the creatures tell me that, but I can see how that could probably work.
Up in
Big
Portlock.
hello to Martin Groves.
Hey,
Oh,
Mark, what's up, brother?
Martin. Golly,
What's up,
Martin.
brother?
Hey,
Yeah.
miss you, buddy.
Good
Hope
to
to
see
see
you,
you.
There
brother.
is.
Hope to see you soon on our
Yeah, he
expedition.
says hope to go to Portlock with my brothers Ron and Darrell. in
We was
May.
going to do that here a couple of
We're
years
going to
ago.
do it, brother.
There we go. So, right. Okay. So, I mean, there are some things that are pretty much all the same, like the certain structures. It's just using common sense. That's what could it be. So, when you're looking at the, the teepee type structures, which are like big, heavy, way up there, you'd have to be one heck of a Boy Scout or one heck of a climber.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen a tree. I've seen a tree, the temperature one up in Portlock, which was that big around. I mean, it was 18 inches round, across
Love
it.
you,
And
brother.
it was popped off and up to about 15, 20 feet high. Just
Yes.
broke off. The weather did not do what I saw. It just was really, something broke it that way. And we saw a big track underneath it. So anyway, I'm just saying, they do
Yes.
mess
Agree
with
with that.
trees. Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
they will
let's.
also make twists on trees. They'll take a tree branch 10 foot off the ground, 2 or 3 inches, and they'll twist it. Really unbelievable the strength it takes to twist a limb like that. Those are markers to mark their territory.
Interesting. Okay. So those are like a few dead giveaways that you've entered into Bigfoot or Sasquatch country. So again, double-ended question. Let's start with a benevolent, friendly sort of encounter. What are the do's and don'ts? Like, how can you keep a good encounter going? And then we'll tackle the flip side.
Well, let them be the aggressor. That's my suggestion. They have
Yeah,
to they have to make the first move. If you think they're out there, you'll know that a telltale sign of a big limb popping or with definition. I mean, just powerful limb. And the rocks popping, maybe something like that. A tree knock, that happens too. And that's kind of common. I think that the knock trees, well, my opinion is to single the other ones. But you listen to that stuff, and then once you hear it, don't get up and shine a light around. That's the worst thing you can do, because you want to see what's did that, and it scares you, or you're frightened, so you want to get up and shine a light right quick, but don't do that. Just be still. I got a whole list of suggestions that worked for us, and that's what you don't do with some of that stuff. We use amber lights around a fireplace, lanterns, things like that don't shine white. The white light bothers. Well, I'm a pilot too, and white light is not what you use in an airplane when you're looking at a lamp or something. Use a red light because it doesn't blind you. So it's important to understand a few little things and be still. Let them know that you're not going to shoot at them and jump around and jump up and down and start yelling at them.
So don't throw things at them. Should you
Yeah,
like tree knock
wouldn't-
back? Or
I
like don't
wouldn't
pitch
throw
a
anything.
stone, don't tree knock back? Like is there like a protocol?
No, you don't
Oh
want
well.
to do that. No.
Well, you might if you can't get anything else going, but then why? Just be still and let them come in closer. We found if you just be still and don't do anything, uh, they will see if they can get your attention because they want to play with you. I mean, the good ones do. Now the bad ones, I don't think I want them to come in closer, but they do mess with you. They think that we think we're smarter than them, and we do think that. We think we're the alpha out there, and
We're not.
we're not. They are. And the dogman, I'm not sure about that. Darrell, you know more about that, but it's interesting that Melba Ketchum said that the dogman has a mitochondrial that's female. I mean, human.
Yep.
And that means there's something created them. But then are they disappearing? Can they do that too? Can they make the frequency that would change their matter into energy? That's a big question right there. Are they doing that to disappear? Is that how they disappear? Because I was told years ago by a guy, I was in a board meeting with him in a place in Canada, And I can take you to a place up above Fairbanks where I saw one disappear. He was having a confrontation with a bear. And this guy was serious until I started looking at him like, okay, I'll put that one on the shelf. That was a long time ago. I didn't think anything could disappear then, but I found out the science that's behind how that happens, and it's Paul Dirac's antimatter from 1933 Nobel Prize. And matter can disappear. Just find the frequency of anything, it can disappear.
No, I know. I'm sure. I know the dog man has the same ability. I don't know if every creature does, but I know some of the dog men have that ability. The dog man that Martin Groves and I seen at the LBL in 2023, it came in. It went from like a reddish blue mist into a silver creature laying on the ground. So I don't know if we've seen it coming out of a portal, we've seen it, or what we've seen, but it turned into a complete creature that was silver gray in color. And it definitely had the ability. And when it did go around the vehicle, the opposite side, on Martin's side, you could shine a flashlight through it. So it was also a complete creature, but it was also transparent. Very strange.
Martin adds, the dogman can change and disappear into trees, highly intelligent, and hunts in packs using combat movements, Japers.
Wow. There we go. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's sophisticated.
Another reason Martin and I is going to be on horses.
Very, very intelligent. We're all going to be on horses. We better have a good, steady horse, I can tell you that.
Well, you got to know how steady they're going to be if they run across a dog man or something, you know. Because,
anyway, see, that's something else, you know.
Well, put blinders on the horse.
Yeah, he says, he goes, amen, Brother Ron. So Kevin says the 3 Bigfoot I saw moving through the trees were translucent looking and then vanished in the trees.
I can believe that.
Trees have energy. They
live in the trees.
Well, that's according to Matthew Johnson, who saw that, who really believes that 100% within himself. He believes that 100%. Also, I know another person that was not on the same page with him at all that says he's seen them growing out of trees. I've heard this over and over again. That's what got me into studying trees, because so many sightings were around trees that are being cut, clear cuts especially. And that's why I wonder about this portlock thing, because it was being clear cut years and years ago. You can see a new growth from 40 years ago, 50 or 60. Wow, long time ago.
Long time ago. Question. She goes, can they influence technology, such as stopping your car like a UFO can do, for example?
I think so.
Well, I know they can drain your batteries. I know that for sure. I've had my watch drain, my cell phone, and my light and camera. So I'm sure they can.
Well, if they can find the frequency of anything, you can change what it's doing. It's matter. So if they know electrical things are very interesting to think about, because you see a lot of people report seeing these things along power lines where transformers are. Up there are batteries that go dead sometimes, and not sometimes, but quite often, really. In fact, Scott Nelson, the cryptolinguist, took up there. He took a bunch of batteries. They were all dead, and they were new. You know, I had a brand new lithium battery one night when one of these things was out there, and they were just dead. So can they do that? Al Berry mentioned this in my first CD I produced with him, and he said his tape recorder the battery was dead. He related it to just real cold weather, because it was very cold out there then. But I wonder sometimes if that was really what happened.
I think you're right, Ron. I don't think it had anything to do with the cold weather.
Well, you know, actually, don't they say keep batteries in the refrigerator?
How do I follow that up? Seriously. I was going to say, okay, so what are, like, we're getting to the other side of a more aggressive, or maybe just, you know, a benevolent one that just doesn't want to be bothered. What are the warning signs that people should listen for or look for, especially if you don't really know, you know, like if I wandered into the woods.
Well, you'll find out. If they don't like you, they're gonna You may not come back out of the woods, so then you'll know.
Well, I'm going by the. Yeah, I know this much. If you're on a trail in the woods that they don't want you on, they'll put things across it to block it. Because I've seen
Okay.
it too many times.
And
They
throw
will also
rocks. Yeah.
they'll throw rocks, they'll throw sticks, they'll growl. You'll hear them. The tree knot will sound a little different. It'll sound more hollow, and then you'll hear another one in another area not too far away with the same type noise, and then you'll hear more growls, and they'll close in on you a little bit to try to run you out of there if they don't want you in there, and you'll be wanting to go because it's not very it's not very it's not a very good feeling when they get angry at you and don't want you in their area. So
And you can get a sick feeling too.
you can get zapped. You may
Yeah.
not be able to move your legs. Your stomach will be feeling upset, and you'll have a headache. And
Oh, the infrasound thing.
I've been
Yes.
zapped or infrasounded twice by Bigfoot and once by Dogman.
I've been hit with that twice. I think it's infrasound. That's what scientists tell me. Because infrasound does affect human emotions and human physiology. So, yeah, I've been hit by that twice at the Sierra camp. And it was just, I can't even explain the feeling. It's just like, I never got sick. That didn't happen to me, but I got stopped. Me and the other guy too just got froze, and we weren't talking to each other about anything. But we knew we were close to one of these things. We knew we had to be behind this big tree, and we were going to see him run away, right? Well, he didn't run away. He just stayed there and played with us. And finally, we had to just turn around and go back into the shelter, which we did. And as soon as we got back inside, he closed the door. He started mouthing off again. They toy with you. They do. They just mess with us.
Yeah, because
They
they
have a
can.
mischievous way about them when they want to play with you. That's for sure. And
Yeah.
Well, you don't realize at the time. You think everything's serious, but
yeah,
we were serious up there. But it was just I don't think they were. They were seriously messing with us.
We have two. Oh,
I
sorry.
see. I see Bruce Brown's question there. I definitely
Yeah.
think the females are more friendly. I guess I agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, he says easier to interact with what's calls.
Yes.
Call
The
thoughts.
female.
Call
The
thoughts.
female.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, I think the females are actually hold the males down from running you off. In
He
fact,
says,
if you were
I
"What's your
think you're
thought?"
right. I agree.
one of the Sasquatch Chronicles, episode 515 from Wes's Sasquatch Chronicles, the lady he interviewed on there who saw one, she was a business person from UK over in Monterey, and she was out on the beach going to watch to get the sunset. So she had a camera with her, sitting up on the rocks waiting for the sun to go down. And those who've heard that know what I'm talking about. But she's seen 5 of them, 2 adolescents and 2 females and a male, come walking up the beach. And she just sit there still, couldn't believe her eyes, had nothing Bigfoot about her at all. She's a linguist actually from the UK. Fluent in 7 languages, by the way. And I interviewed her personally after Wes did. And she drew me a picture of what it looked like because she watched him for a while. And finally, she said, I got to get a picture of this. She took her camera, which she had in her hand anyway. She took the lens cover off. She was there to take a picture of the sunset. That's all she went there for. And she said the male was out in the water picking up seaweed, throwing it back to the females, and they were doing something to it. She didn't know what, but she started trying to take a picture. She dropped her lens cover, and the male heard it, caught their attention. He started screaming at her and started coming out of the water, and it scared her so bad she passed out. This is all in. You can listen to this whole interview by Wes, and I got a little bit more out of her.
Where was that at? Monterey Beach?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I haven't heard that one.
Oh, 515, Sasquatch Chronicles. Really good. She's really an intelligent lady, and she just had that happen, and she didn't know what to do with it. She called the police. They covered it up, so they said bear. Well, all that stuff.
Yeah, same old stuff we always.
They won't let that out, or it mess up their tourism, messes up everything. Nobody wanted to go to the beach after that.
So she passed out.
She passed out, but she said it was screaming at her. She said the reason I got this part because the females, she said, stopped him. She said, I feel like I would have been dead if she hadn't stopped him. And so I think the females they know about the non-interference, leave us alone stuff. The males just want you away from their family.
The juveniles too, for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Next question from Judy. What does the asterisk structure mean?
Well, it means there used to be a gold operation there. I don't know.
Oh,
I have a belief on that, but I haven't been able to talk to one and speak in English with one to know for sure. But I know it's definitely a special marker, and it has something to do with the young. I know that much because I was shown by example on the backside of trees where the bark was torn off. That was also a marker along with the asterisk, not to go past that area. It was like a fence around your house. And that's what I was told. So,
if you ever learn to communicate with these things, they can tell you a lot of these things. It gives a lot of answers.
I wish I could have got more out of the ones I was with. But
I wish we had taken our event more seriously and more. Well, I wish I knew what I knew. I wish I knew then what I think I know now. I'd have done it differently.
It's never too late.
Well, don't say that.
Judy says we found one on our property.
Oh, Astrid? Is there, I was serious about the gold. Is there a history of gold there?
Yeah.
How big was the asterisk? How big was it?
Yeah. Just chime in, Judy. I'll put your comment back up. How big was it? So, yeah, we'll just wait for her to reply back.
Well, we got this pause. Anybody got any suggestions on what they'd like us to talk about? I think you mention this every time, Michelle, but I thought I'd mention it too. Yeah. We're open to options. We love this right here. What we do. That's what we're for. Darren and I. We're just Darrell and I. We're wanting to share what we think we know about what we've encountered, because we have experienced them. Both of us have, and we have some information that hopefully will help somebody else. And that's what we're all about. That's what my passion is.
100%.
For doing this for so long, and
we're all here to learn. Yeah. If we keep learning, hopefully. So.
And we speak at these events, and we talk on these podcasts quite often. Him and I both, the different ones, and it's just I enjoy it. I mean, it's really what I think I'm for now, because
3 feet tall. It was definitely a marker. Yeah.
3 feet tall. Yeah, a marker then.
It's a friendly marker. It's not anything bad. The stick I know when they put a stick in the ground, it has a curve on top, like a broken limb. That's a marker you want to stay away from the area, because they showed me that on the river.
Shows we also have 3 X's and arches everywhere.
That's good. That's very good. You have the good ones.
That's refreshing, isn't it, Judy?
You have the good ones that are non-aggressive. That's what I've learned.
Yes. And yes, as Ron was saying, we would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your questions. You can, comment on any of the show links that you see. You can reach out to either of the guys. They can reach it out to me. You can message me at, Michelle Desrochers contact@gmail.com. And I am happy to make sure it ends up in one of the shows somewhere. Or we could just do a show all around it. So you just never know.
That's good.
Martin says, Ron and Darrell, what do you both think about the rock cairns that appear not to be human-made?
Rock what?
Cairns. CAIRNS. I'm the rookie. Don't look to me for an answer.
Well, we've talked about this. I've talked about this with Martin before, and quite frankly, there's a lot of things that it could be, but I don't really know. It'd be nothing but speculation. So, I think it has a lot to do with where they go and where they come. I know that much. So, and there are some of those in the LBL, in between the lakes. I know I've seen In Gallatin, Tennessee, I've seen 7 huge ones, and they've been moved several times. And these things are very heavy. They're not something you go pick up with you and a buddy. I mean, it would take practically a crane to move one of these things. So,
Yeah, so there we have that. um, I think there are, there are beings out there that we haven't encountered yet. I mean, there could be a whole other race or species, of these beings out there that are just laying low,
Yeah, I agree.
I think
watching,
I
observing.
100% agree with that. Yeah, I think
Sure.
there's a lot
If
of
we
things we don't know.
if we only knew what was really around us right now in a different density, it would really probably jerk the slack out of us. I mean, we just don't know. We only think we believe in is what we can see. That seems to be the rule of things. It's Newtonian physics, but there's so much more outside of our light's frequency. And if you look and see what just the scope of our ability to see, and how much more is out there that we don't see, you would realize there's a lot of things we're just not seeing. It's just not in our density. And we have to learn how to see energy if we're understanding it. That's what people see when they see ghosts. They see it and see some of these things that are pixelated. They're seeing something change in their density.
Yeah, there's a disturbance in the force. It's kind of like that. Bruce says, I recently found the letter Y made from sticks laying at an entrance to a cave. What are your thoughts?
Great sign.
Keep going.
Well, yes, you starting
No,
something?
I was going to say that somebody will start a fire. Stay warm.
I've seen the Y stuck in mud before too, and right around where I used to meet the ones on the river, and it was never a bad sign. I can't tell you exactly what it does mean, but I know it may be almost like a peace type offering, because I've never seen it in a bad area, and the ones I was with would put that in the ground quite a bit. I wish I could answer it fully, but I don't know exactly what it means.
I'm going to ask an LBL question. Are there any friendly Bigfoot in the LBL?
Yeah.
Are there?
Yes. Yeah,
I was just going to say, is anything friendly in the LBL? So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're called forestry workers.
Yeah. It's like, okay. I have to ask because, I've interviewed Darrell about the LBL, and it sounded like pretty much like you have to be on your game and have your running shoes on.
It depends on where you're at and when you're in there. I mean, the LBL is a whole different world when the lights go out. I mean, you go in there in the daytime, but when a nightfall comes, it's a whole different world. So, you're going to have most of your activity in the evening and at nighttime. The main hours, most of your activity is going to be between 11 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And
witching hour.
Exactly.
Martin says there are both friendly and aggressive ones. However, both are very territorial, apologies, in nature.
Exactly, Bubba.
Okay. Like anywhere. Okay. Another question that I have, because like I said, I like to peruse, through chats and such, and find interesting questions. And one that I came across was, why would a Bigfoot just circle you? Let's say if you were in a trailer, for example, whether you're in a trailer park or you're camping in the woods, I see that as territorial. But if one's coming into your area, let's say like a community trailer park, why would they just choose to circle you and try, obviously like looking into the windows and knocking and terrorizing you, basically?
Well, I would say because,
Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I was just going to say they have an interest there someplace. Either something caught their interest, because they do pick out certain things, and it's got the, I hate to say this over and over, but the frequency. If the people in there have the right frequency, they want to interact with it, maybe. uh, or to see what they can. And I'll tell you another thing. They play on fear. A lot of these things, whether malevolent or beloved, they will
Yep.
play on fear. If they can scare you or scare somebody in there, then they're succeeding. But that's one thing I caution people if they're out in the woods, even not in a trailer, but out in the woods, is
Mm.
control your fear. Don't be afraid of what's out there. Just it's hard. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Just
Mm.
understand how important you are as a human. They're not supposed to really interfere with us. Nothing's supposed to interfere with our karma, our our issues that come in front of us. Nothing should interfere with our decision about those issues. Where we think it's good or bad, we're supposed to react to it and react to it properly. And that's how you get away from your fear too. It's understanding. And fear is really just a lack of knowing. And because once you know something, if you knew somebody's going to jump out of this, behind a tree before you walk up to the tree and say boo, it wouldn't scare you. Uh, so there, just you got to know and know what you're doing. I mean, what you're not doing. A lot of do's and don'ts around these things. This is my second book, The Quantum Liquid. That's got some do's and don'ts in there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've had quite a few people message me and call me about what you just brought up about that they have a camper or a trailer out in a campground that stays there all the time and it stays there all year round. And there's nobody there. I mean, just their camper happens to be the only one there. Nobody else has one parked there, and they'll have a Bigfoot do that on occasion. They've either spotted something they're interested in, some type of food, or they're drawn to that person. Some people I know are destined to meet these creatures over other people, and I don't know how that is, but I know that's true. And you could have children; they love to watch kids play.
Yeah.
Uh,
They'll rock the trailer.
Yep, they will do that too.
Very nice. Very nice. So, any last words? Sounds so dire. What do you guys have coming up that you want to share with everybody in our last couple of minutes here?
We do. We can't talk about it, right, Darrell?
Yeah, we do. We've got something big coming up, and we've already brought it up several times with Martin Groves and Mike Smith, and but Ron and I will be on. Let's see, today we'll be on Squatch and Holler on Thursday night at 8 with Roger Williams. Ron and I will be guests on his show. So
I better look at my calendar. Okay.
If you want to catch us,
Ron's like we are.
So we'll be there. And
I get lost in this stuff. There's so much of it. It's so fun though. Yeah. I'll look for that, Darrell. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, I got 2 shows tomorrow myself. So, but anyway, I've always enjoyed being here. Thank you, Michelle, for helping us and being with us like always. And thank the audience, everybody, for being here. And you too, Martin Groves. Thank you, brother. For
yes. We love you, Martin. And I just it's an hour goes really fast here. We start talking like this, just all of a sudden it's over with.
It does. It does. So get your questions ready. Get your comments. If there's a topic that you would like to see the guys address and talk about, then, please let us know. And Melba, I know there's been talk. A lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, we would love to see her come back. Are there any plans to bring her back?
There is plans to possibly bring her back, yes.
Okay.
In the coming weeks, yes.
Okay, there we go. So that answers that question. Yeah, Wayne says you need to have a 2-hour show. I don't know. Ron would be a little bit ornery if we did that to him.
I'm ornery anyway.
Okay, so we're going to maybe consider that one.
We'll get some pineapple margaritas and piranha beef.
There we go. That'll do it.
We're out for Spanish food and margaritas. That's fun.
All right, then we'll have them go for probably a few hours. But
carry me out.
Then the conversation will get creative, I'm sure.
Very creative.
Well, thank you all for tuning in tonight, and Big thanks to everybody in the chat room. You guys are just wonderful. Thank you so much. You have been listening to Two Real Cryptid Legends with Darrell, Denton, Ron Morehead, and myself, your moderator, host, and segment producer. We have been broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We shall
Thanks,
see
everyone.
you guys. Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks,
And-
everyone.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.